Hello everyone, it's Derek here with Get Lost Trails. Today we are in beautiful Shenandoah National Park. It's mid-October in 2022 here, getting ready to take you out on a hike. The Whiteoak Canyon Cedar Run Loop Trail here. According to AllTrails, it's 9 miles, 14.4 kilometers. I believe the Park Service calls it only 7.3 miles, so I guess we're gonna find out. It is a pretty strenuous trail, according to the Park Service. AllTrails also calls the loop hard. Should see a lot of waterfalls on the trail. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for joining me. The trail starts out from the Hawksbill Gap parking area on the east side of the road there. The west side of the road takes you up to Hawksbill Mountain, a nice loop, the highest part of Shenandoah National Park. The Hawksbill Summit hike is one I definitely recommend. It's a pretty short hike at 1.7 miles, 2.75 kilometers round trip. Pretty quick into the trail, you'll start on the loop. Don't get confused with that turn on the horse trail there. It's not the way we'll be going. You want to stay up here to where the trail winds. This is where the loop starts. We're going to do this in a counterclockwise fashion, staying to the right at the Y there. It's probably the easier way to do this. Spread your elevation gain out over a further distance so that you're not hiking up the steep section. If you're used to hiking nice graded dirt trails, you might find this chunky rock a little annoying to walk on. Kind of hard on the ankles sometimes. Met a few people coming up the trail from the lower parking area, let's call it. The Whiteoak Canyon Trailhead, it is on Google Maps, on Weekly Hollow Road there. I realize why we didn't start there now. It's a road that's clear out of the park. That trailhead is 40 miles by road from where we were at versus 5 miles. Headed down to some more rock steps here. A lot of rock steps coming down from Hawksbill, or a lot of rock steps if you happen to be going up from Whiteoak Canyon. What do you think of that terrain?
I think it's not that terrible.
Not that terrible, she says.
Pay attention.
Yeah, still on the Cedar Run Trail here.
It might be helpful if you have your hiking sticks.
She's not mic'd up, but I don't know if you can hear her, but she says it might be helpful if you can have your hiking sticks, if you bring your hiking sticks, which I would agree with that. We actually have a pair of them, or 2 pairs of them, and we didn't bring them. I mean, they're up there in the vehicle, but it is a longer trail and it is fairly steep, so probably would be useful to have those. Still working down the Cedar Run Trail here. We should be getting pretty close to the Whiteoak Trailhead on the lower side of this. We need to cross. We have to cross here. I don't know what the best way is to do this, I guess. Well, let's take a look at the situation, see what we got. It looks like it shouldn't be any problem to cross here either, just using the rocks as stepping stones. I don't know if seasonally it's more challenging or not, but right now the water level is definitely low enough we can work right across there. I suppose if the water flow is higher, I don't know how high it gets here, I guess, but it is fall, autumn here, maybe in the spring the runoff is higher. I'm not really sure, but right now it doesn't seem to be a problem. Looks like we made it to the intersection for Whiteoak Canyon parking here at the Cedar Run Trail. We've been 3.9 miles, 6.25 kilometers. So far today, about 2.5 hours. According to the post here, we have 4.8 miles or about 7.7 kilometers back up to the Skyline Trail from here. The Whiteoak Canyon parking is 0.2 miles behind us there. Gonna head up here, see if we can see some waterfalls. Should be about at least 6 pretty good sized ones on here, some 30 to 60 foot waterfalls. Pretty soon into the Whiteoak Canyon Trail here, you cross the Robinson River. Did start out pretty gradually uphill there from the Whiteoak Canyon Trailhead area. This section here, turn a corner, it's a little bit steeper, a little rockier. But so far it's been pretty pleasant hiking. Looks like we're coming up to the first major falls of the hike here. Lower Whiteoak Falls here, pretty nice falls. Don't recall what the overall height is of these. If I can figure that out, I'll put it on the screen for you. But once we left the lower Whiteoak Falls there, started up this series of switchbacks. Fairly steep and rocky, this section it is, but it is pretty. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but definitely getting warmed up. Some falls tucked in kind of off the corner of the trail here. I don't think this is the upper Whiteoak Falls yet, but we should be getting pretty close to them, so this might be some just in below that. Getting closer, maybe, to the upper Whiteoak Canyon Falls. And this may be part of that network of them there that we're seeing. But hopefully we can get in and get a little closer view of some big falls before we wrap the trip up here. I think we're still at least 2 miles out from being back to Skyline Road. So should still have some more things to see. I think it's safe to say that we have found the upper Whiteoak Falls. Upper Whiteoak Canyon Falls here. Very pretty, but we better get to moving on. It's 4 o'clock here. We didn't get the earliest start this morning, although we also didn't kill a lot of time this morning, but we have killed a lot of time on the hike, or I've killed a lot of time on the hike probably, between video production. Not the best, I'm sure, but still takes time. Taking pictures, just enjoying the sights, squeezing some rest breaks in here and there. Still coming up the Whiteoak Canyon Trail here. It's a bit of a ball buster, as they say. 2,372 feet or 723 meters of elevation change. Definitely has a way of catching up with you. You know, I thought we were doing this easy way, and maybe we were doing it the easier way. No easy way to do this. We came down the Cedar Run Trail and up the Oak Ridge Canyon side. I thought it looked better on the elevation map
But, you know, I don't know. I think the moral of the story is it's just a tough trail. That's the reality of it. Probably wouldn't recommend it for anybody with limited mobility or medical issues. Of course, you probably know your limits for hiking. It is one of the longer loops here in Shenandoah National Park, I would say, as far as the day hike goes. Of course, the Appalachian Trail itself runs through a lot of the park. This does not crisscross any of that, but it is a beautiful hike altogether. I mean, I would say that it's worth it. I just think you need to know what you're getting into and have a valid understanding of your own limitations. Well, as it turns out, everything I was just saying is so ironic because I saw this sign. I thought maybe we were getting up to the fire road that cuts us back up to Hawksbill Gap parking, but we're not. We are at the halfway point on the Whiteoak Canyon Trail. What they're saying is we're halfway between Whiteoak Canyon Trailhead parking at the base here where we split and went uphill or whatever, however you want to say that, and the Hawksbill Gap parking at Skyline Road where we started today. So we're way more than halfway around our loop, but we are only halfway uphill. I guess you could look at it that way. According to the sign, another 2.5 miles back up to Hawksbill Gap parking on Skyline Road. We are fairly close though to cutting back on the fire road. So still got a little ways to go. And I'm sure we'll make it, but I think we're out of snacks, so wish us luck. Also, 2 seconds later, after I recorded that segment, I am out of water. 2.5 miles to go, out of water, uphill. It's a good thing it's not hot. Just above that view of the upper falls there, you reach the intersection with the old fire road. It's still part of the Whiteoak Canyon Trail system. It just uses an old fire road to connect back to Skyline Drive. According to the signage back there, it's still 2.1 miles, 3.4 kilometers over there, and pretty much continues uphill the whole way, just like we have. So still got a little bit of work to do here to get ourselves out of here. It's about 4:30, I think. The sunlight is going to be fading this time of year before long. Right above the falls there, I thought we were getting immediately on a fire road, but we're not. Still a footpath for just a little ways. Well, we've crossed the bridge back across the Robinson River here. Got to another one of these fine directional posts here. One of these trail markers. According to it, Whiteoak Canyon Trail, Skyline Drive, 2.2 miles that way. But according to my map, and I think the way we want to go is going to be to the left here, to Whiteoak Canyon Fire Road. That's what I was expecting to find to get me back up to the Hawksbill Gap parking area. That probably does go to Skyline Road somewhere further north into the park, apparently. Not sure, but we are going to take the signage towards the fire road. This obviously isn't a fire road yet, but the sign said to it, so we're going with that. We were just on the other side of the Robinson River there, came up above the falls, and then continued to walk on up to the footbridge and across, and came back down to, I believe, the Whiteoak Canyon Fire Road, which is what we were wanting the whole time. We could have probably just walked across the rocks there in the Robinson, depending on the water flow, I suppose, but we found a nice wide path. It says it's the horse trail, and it is used as a horse trail as well. but it's also what the map shows as the fire road.
Finally getting close to being back here. The hike up the fire road has been a pretty easy hike. Nice surface to walk on, more gradual for sure. Trail marker here, a little split left and right. It's a short hike on up to Skyline Drive that way. It also goes to Skyline Drive. To the left here will take us up to Hawksbill Gap on Skyline Drive. It's an additional half mile back to the trailhead. I know I don't sound worn out maybe right at this second, but I'm getting there. I'm getting pretty spent, I'll tell you. It's been a hike. It's been a big one. I immediately get spammed with some burial coverage that lasts a lifetime. It's burial insurance. Maybe I should look into that before I get this hike finished in case I don't get it finished. Made it back to where the trail splits almost to the Hawksbill Gap parking area. Just a short walk on up here. 10.2 miles, 16.3 kilometers, 7 hours. Yeah, full day. Now, I say that was what it took me. That's what it took me and my sister. And of course there was a fair amount of stops, you know, taking pictures, enjoying the sights, and you know, taking our time. We're not the fastest, for sure. You could knock an easy hour off that, I'm sure, if you just didn't take all the pictures and do all the stops that we did. You could hike a little faster and probably knock another hour off of it. But kind of gives you an idea what it took us, I'm sure. You probably hiked enough to have an idea what a trail like that might take you. Really enjoyed it. Overall though, I do think I probably underestimated it a little bit. I think that could be easy to do. But overall, it was a great time. Definitely enjoyed it. What did you think?
I thought it was good, but we needed hiking sticks. And the waterfalls were gorgeous.
Yes, and it's starting to get
it's cold.
Quite cold, yes. I know, I need my gloves back. The sun is getting very low on the horizon by this point. It's time to go make some supper. I enjoyed the hike. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Gonna have some more videos from Shenandoah National Park coming out before long. So be sure to hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of those. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Again, thanks for joining me. Oh, let's start over.